I am so excited for this particular training series. It's going to last us 12 weeks. And just so you guys know, if you haven't been informed, it's going to be based on this book right here, which is The Self-Aware Leader by John C. Maxwell. So if you don't have this book, go grab it. It's a really small book. It's a quick, easy read, but man, it will punch you in the gut for sure. So I know for me, I feel like this book personally called me out, as a leader. I think that's what the point of it is to become more self-aware, to become aware of where your skill sets are, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are as a leader. And so one thing I wanted to bring up is this. My intention of this series isn't just to be teaching you guys leadership, but to also show you leadership. And so those are two different things. There's one thing to teach leadership, and then there's another thing to do leadership. And so I'm going to try to combine these efforts together so that we are all on the same page. And as you're learning from this book, from me, from my example, you guys will be able to implement this in your own team and throughout your organization. So if you just got on here, thanks for hopping on. We're going to get this started in just a minute here. But my training for the next 12 weeks is going to be based on this book, The Self-Aware Leader. Some of you may think, how can you get 12 weeks of material in this little book? Well, you'll be surprised. We're going to dive deep into each chapter. I'm not going to read it to you. This is not story time with Jenna. So that's why you should go read it yourself. But what I'm going to do is relate it to today's challenges in network marketing and beyond, and how we can kind of become better leaders ourselves. So with that being said, I wanted to actually open this call out today with sharing my vision. I think this is very, very important, not only to our industry, for founders to have a vision, but for our company as well. I wanted to share this with you guys because it's changed a lot over the years. And I think it's important that you guys are clear on kind of where we're heading as a company. Now, I know the last few calls we've had together, we've talked a lot about 2.0 and what that means. And I know some of you guys are thinking that this is just a tech upgrade, but it's really not just a tech upgrade. It is kind of a rebirth for the company. It's a reorganization. It's putting together strategies and things that are going to help us move to the next phase of our journey in MyDailyChoice. So I was talking to Josh yesterday, I think, or the day before that, and he said he was watching our old vision video. I posted this on Facebook. I put it also in our Telegram chat, and some of you guys got to see it. I don't know about you guys. I get chills every time I watch that video because it's just crazy to think of where we've come and what we've come from. But what's crazy about it is the heart of our vision has remained the same, which is what I want to kind of reiterate with Josh is what he's kind of put into words. He said the original vision for our company, and I'm just going to quote him, the original vision was to help people achieve their true potential, because that's what network marketing did for me. And I wanted others to experience it. Like everybody has barriers in life, and network marketing is a personal growth journey. And it really is. And it's going to be pretty much impossible to succeed in this industry or succeed as a leader if you're not constantly challenging yourself to grow to new heights and to new potentials and to higher potentials. And so the first chapter of this book really talks about how to become a self-aware leader, right? How to become a better leader, how to look at your blind spots squarely and to figure out where you can fix things within yourself so that you can lead not only yourself, but lead other people. You literally cannot lead anybody else until you're committed to leading yourself first. And I think that's a big misconception people have in this industry is they join a company and they think all they have to do is go get sales. All they have to do is share their website. All they have to do is share the video. All they have to do is promote the sales and the products that are on discount or the 420 sale or whatever's going on. They think that all it takes is just for them to blast on social media that they're in business, and they expect everybody to come and run to them and fill their commissions up. And it just doesn't work like that. There's an element of this business that is so integral and completely misunderstood, and that is influence. So in one word, what is influence? Or what is leadership? I just told you. What is leadership? Leadership is influence. It's the ability to get people to work together and move towards a common vision and a common goal, right? So that's why I want to start this call out by sharing with you guys my vision for the future and our mission and how we're going to get there. Okay, so real quickly, I'll just read this to you. Here's my new vision statement, which you will be seeing. You'll be seeing on our website. You'll be seeing it through our marketing videos. You'll be seeing it start to shift and change throughout our company and throughout our organization. There's one brand in particular that stands out to me that has kind of hit the mark on this, but not all of our brands are there yet. And our company is more than just brands. It's the way we operate. It's the way we do things. It's the way we communicate this underlying message. So here's our vision statement. To be a socially responsible one-stop shop for ethically sourced products that promote sustainability, to empower people to make positive choices to collectively create world change. So that's my vision for the future. I don't want to just talk about money and how you're going to earn a Lamborghini. I don't want to just tell you guys how you're going to financially free yourself so you can go on vacation whenever you want. I think it's bigger than that. Now, that is the result of being a good leader. All right. That is the result of getting everybody to work towards a common goal. Your finances will certainly change as you grow into leadership, but that's not the goal. That's the result of achieving your goal. I feel like right now, more than ever, especially with the millennial generation kind of coming in and making these choices with their dollars, they're looking for a company that's doing right by the world. They're looking for a company that's putting this purpose into their product lines. And this is something that I'm personally passionate about. Hint Mama has made a focus on this, but now we need to bring this all together company-wide so that we're all unified going in this direction. So now I'm going to tell you guys our mission statement. Our mission statement is to create products that are good for people and good for the planet, to reduce the carbon footprint from supply chain to consumer delivery worldwide. So essentially, we're just going to be changing our stores, changing our shopping habits, changing our buying power to support personal and financial freedom, and at the same time contribute to the environment. This is something that is not only been trending over the last 10 to 15 years, but it's something that network marketing companies have been kind of just left in the dust with. Like, we have a lot of dinosaur companies out there, and I don't want to be a dinosaur company. So not only are we going to be improving our technology, which is going to help with this initiative, we're going to be changing the way we do things altogether. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I can't fully lead you as people. I can't lead this company. I can't lead our affiliates onto greener pastures and promises ahead if you guys don't understand where we're going. So this is all about making conscious choices, right? It just imagine, like, so many people are saying, I don't want to shop at Amazon. Well, I don't want to shop at Amazon, but it's the only option for some of us, for some of these day-to-day items that we need, right? Well, I don't want to shop at Amazon either. I want to shop at MyDailyChoice because I know that the products will be ethically sourced and sustainably met, So this is kind of the direction we're heading in, and it's going to be a huge initiative, and it's not going to happen all at once. I just got off a call with all of our company executives, and I told them, hey, this is where we're going. This is what we're putting together. This is what the future looks like. In a few years ago, we talked about, I talked about on stage about my little hippie community, right? And how I foresee building these little communities all over the world. I think a Zwagil Foundation is going to fit some of that need there in that vision. But for a company, as a company, this is something that we can all work towards together. And it's part of a vision and mission that you can share with your people as well. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the training portion of this call. First, I want to tell you guys, to be good at leading yourself is not an easy task. It's something that everybody struggles with from time to time. In the best leaders of our time, Martin Luther King, this is not like something that's kind of done overnight where you're unaware and then bam, you're aware. Awareness is something that's constantly growing within us. If you look at what the things you've said 2 years ago, if you look at your Facebook memories from 3 years ago, you'll probably look at them and say, wow, why did I even put that on there? Like, I have now more awareness that probably I shouldn't have said that back then, or probably I shouldn't have done that with my team back then, or probably I could have made, this change or that change or whatever. But becoming self-aware as a leader, it's a process, and it's something that's in progress constantly. So without beating ourselves up too bad, John Maxwell shares with us some of the crises in his leadership breakdowns. And I wanted to kind of put that into perspective for myself. The first thing I have to do is admit my own mistakes, because, it's funny is we think as leaders that nobody can see our weaknesses unless we say them. But that's not true. Everybody can see our weaknesses at all times. In fact, if we don't admit them, it's going to make people feel more insecure because we're not owning up to where we know we need to grow, right? So for me, crisis number one, my organization had no direction. So as a leader in this industry and in this company, as an affiliate myself, it's been extremely challenging for me to wear the affiliate hat and the corporate hat at the same time. But I know that if I want to succeed as an affiliate, I have to succeed company-wide, which is why my role has changed. It's not enough for me to go get sales for the company. I got to make sure that we're executing the right mission all along the way. So that's my first crisis as my leadership has changed over time, is not having my organization have clear direction. I lacked the ability to bring focus to my leadership. And as a result, my people wandered into the wilderness and I didn't lead them anywhere. Now, one mistake I made was thinking that my leaders had all the answers they already needed to succeed, because I made the mistake thinking that everybody's going to just be like me. I'm a self-starter. I can just pick up a book. I can read it. I can execute what's in it. I can learn it quickly, and I can make change. Not everybody is going to go at the same speed as you. Where you may be strong in some areas, maybe other people on your team need a little bit more time. They need a little bit more, breakdown on this message. Maybe they need a little bit more support. And for me, I know I've been kind of militant with my people, like, hey, you're either going to succeed or you're not. You're either coming with us or you're not, and maybe that worked back then, but it doesn't work today. And there's something that we say in this industry all the time: the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. And we're always constantly focused on being the fastest leader that we can be. But that's not what leadership is. Sometimes you have to slow down, because if you don't slow down, you're leaving people in the dust. I could out-recruit probably anybody if I set my mind to it. I could go out and get 40 sales tomorrow. Like, that's something I could do, but how does that impact my team? My weekly check's going to go up, right? But my binary check's going to go way down, because I'm not building a sustainable team, and I'm not sharing the knowledge with them that they need so that they can duplicate those efforts. So it's not necessarily the speed of the leader. It's the speed of your team. So if you're climbing Mount Everest, which is an example that's used, the guide that's guiding people up the mountain in this book, he talks about how the guide can go up there quickly. He can reach the top, no problem. He can look down and be like looking for where's my team at, right? They're not here yet. But the guide's purpose is not to get to the top first. He already knows the path. He knows he could get there first, right? But the purpose of the guide, the purpose of the leader, is to go down and bring these people back up with them, right? Is to find out where they're struggling, is to find out where they've stopped, where they've stalled, where they've taken a break, where they've gotten distracted, where they've lost focus. So the leader's job isn't to rush to the top of the mountain and say, I've conquered it, I've done it, look at what I can do. The purpose of the leader is to dive down to the mountain and find out who has stopped along the way. And that's something that we all can do better, I think, as leaders, is to bring our people with us. So that's one area I know that I had to work on. And we've spent so much time, saying, this is easy. We built the company for you guys. Now go run with it. But it's going to take a little more effort than that, right? So my second crisis that I've experienced in my own leadership breakdowns, I'm covering my own problems first because I know it's going to relate to some of you. And because as a leader, I don't want you to think that I have it all figured out all the time. I don't. I am my own work in progress. But you guys need to know that if you're going to continue to lead people, you have to be committed to learning at all times. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop leading. Crisis number 2 for me, I got pulled in another direction. It's really, really hard to split your priorities up, right? It's really hard to divide your focus. One example I heard this morning, which I thought was really interesting, is these people that train lions, okay? They're lion trainers. If they go into a ring with a lion, they're going to get eaten alive because the lion has one singular focus and he's going to eat the man that's trying to train him, right? But if the man wants to succeed in leading the lion, he has to go into the ring, and this is kind of crazy, but he has to go into the ring with a chair, with a chair that has 4 legs. Why does this matter? Because if he goes into the ring with a chair with 4 legs, the lion becomes paralyzed because now he's focusing on 4 things instead of 1. He no longer has singular focus. That lion is not going to attack that man because he's distracted. And one thing that's happened in our company is we put a lot of brands out there at once. We had a singular focus, HempWorks. We drove it because we were all chanting the same tune. Now, that's not to say we have to rethink our plan. It's not. What we have to do is emphasize on what our focus is. Our focus is to lead people to understanding that we are a one-stop shop of all products that you can easily replace in your home right now. Products that you're already buying somewhere else, you can redirect those spending dollars here. That is the chant that we need to be saying company-wide. It isn't just, I'm using cosmetology today, or look at me, I'm using HempWorks today. All those things are great, but collectively as a whole, we're just one store. We're one company. And we're going to blend the lines between all of the hard, branding kind of differentiators, if that makes sense. But for me, my crisis was I got pulled into a lot of different directions. It's not easy having babies back to back and trying to be there for them and also be there for your babies on your team, my leaders as well. So that was one breakdown that I had. I had to choose. What was going to come first. And ultimately, my team suffered because of that. My babies are happy about it, but my team, maybe not so much, right? So, and I'm not saying, hey, never have kids or don't spend time with your family, because that's not going to work either. You have to have balance. But as a leader, I lost focus on what I needed to focus on. And that's something that I have brought back into harmony in my life, which I am excited about in my new leadership journeys with you guys. So crisis number 3 is getting overloaded with work. This is something that all of us kind of experience in network marketing, especially if you've never been an entrepreneur before, right? And even those who have been an entrepreneur before, we've all heard about it. People get burnt out. People run super fast and then they go, God, this is hard. This is almost as hard as my job. Maybe I'll just get a job. At least if I have a job, I could take time off when I'm done. I could clock out at the end of the day. Entrepreneurship's not like that. So you have to put those boundaries in place for yourself. You have to have focused efforts. When you're prospecting, let it be focused prospecting. Get on the phone for 1 to 2 hours a day if you're working this part-time, maybe 3 to 4 if you're doing this full-time. You have to learn how to separate your focused activities so that it's making sense, right? The truth is there's no such thing as time management. Everybody's like, how do you do everything? Fact is I don't. I have to be really good at prioritizing what needs my attention. People say, how do you, how can you be a CEO and have kids and also do this and travel here and do all that? It's not that I can do everything. I can't. It's just I have to choose my priorities. And if you guys are looking at your own organization, you have to look at what your priorities are. The fact is 20% of your leaders on your team are making 80% of your sales. This is the Pareto principle. This is the 80-20 rule. So if you're choosing your priorities, make it known that you're choosing them in the right areas. You have to spend 20% of your time at least doing sales calls, outbound sales calls, right? In order to grow your organization. That's going to give you 80% of your paycheck. Now, if you're spending time on 80% of the things that maybe don't matter, you're not going to have a good result. So you have to set your priorities. There's no such thing as time management. Time happens whether we want it to or not. We have the same 24 hours in a day. It's how we're managing our life, how we're managing our priorities. So that's one thing that I did. My life was out of balance. Before I had my 2 babies, all I did was work. And I have 4 kids, but they were older, so they were easier. but all I did was work. I was an absolute workaholic. And some of us get into that kind of rhythm with our business. And to be honest, sometimes it takes that from us. Sometimes you have to run for it. And sometimes you have to know when it's time to recharge as well. The goal isn't to become burnt out to the point where you hate building your business. That's not the goal. And that's not required of you to succeed either. It's just knowing that when you are working, you're spending the right energy on the right activities. Crisis number 4. I waited for somebody else to solve my problems. This is a big one for me. And maybe it's a big one for you guys, because if you're always looking to your upline, if you're always looking to corporate to fix what's happening in your organization, I'm just going to tell you that nobody's going to fix it for you. Because the fact is we've had super affiliates, we've had a lot of high rank affiliates achieve these ranks without a lot of help at all from the company. They've just had motivation on fire. They just went for it and built it, and they took that responsibility upon themselves. There's a lot of us in this organization right now that are always waiting for the next big thing. Last year, I want to call the year of promotions. We had a lot of sales promotions all the time. And in a way, I feel like, it didn't necessarily help us. It was a lot of busy work for some of us, but it took away, I feel like, some of the heart of the leadership that needed to happen. It in no way replaced that. That need that we needed in our company. But I waited for somebody else to solve my problems. What I mean by that is I wanted better results, but all I did was delegate my problems to other people. I went to our COO and I said, okay, this is what we need to do. Good luck. I hope you figure it out. And she's done an exceptional job trying to figure it out, especially with the way Josh and I have ideas. We're like, hey, let's go do this. And it may be the most impossible task. And we have leveraged our corporate team to be able to shift and move with us. And for that, I am extremely grateful. But I also realize that if I'm going to solve any problem, I got to take it upon myself. I got to participate. I got to do my work. I got to do what I'm good at. I got to operate within my strength zone. If you guys want to change your organization, stop looking to your upline. It's okay to leverage them for calls. It's okay to leverage them for presentations. But if you're not working towards mastering that presentation, if you're not working on bettering your own sales skills, if you're not working on bettering your own leadership skills, guess what? They're going to have all the skills. They're going to have your team's loyalty, and you're going to be just a man in the middle. And to the point of being a leader is taking the responsibility upon yourself to make these changes within your own life, but also in your business as well. The goal of being a leader is to be the leader, isn't just to leverage somebody else. Now, we do teach this in network marketing, and this is a great way to get started. But this is not where you should remain. It's a great way to get started. It's not where you should stay. Most leaders need to worry less about the competition. Here's the other thing. We are all comparing who has what, who launched what, who did this, who did that. What about ourselves? Let's think of ourselves for a minute, okay? Other people aren't more successful than you. As leaders, we hold ourselves back. We're the only thing in our way. It's not, I can't build because 2.0 is not here yet. Or I can't build because this company just launched this and we don't have that yet. They have one magical ingredient we forgot to put in ours. Okay? It's not about the competition, because the competition is always you. Because guess what? If we had one product and one product only to offer right now, there would still be super affiliates in our company right now. There would still be people reaching the top right now. There's a lot of that have way less to offer than we do, and yet they have higher ranks. Why is that? Because they've taken it upon themselves to do the inner work themselves so that they can become superior leaders. And that's something that we all have to work towards refocusing our own energy on. Okay, so here's the other deal is we don't see ourselves the way other people see us. I had somebody tell me this before, and my initial reaction was to just block them on Facebook. I'm like, how rude. Telling me about myself. Don't tell me about myself. Nobody wants to hear about themselves. But it's how we become more self-aware. We don't see ourselves as other people see us. People seldom see themselves realistically. They aren't self-aware. We size up everybody in the world but ourselves. And the mirror principle says that we must first examine ourselves. Okay? So you need to know where your personal difficulties lie. You got to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses, and you got to find and correct blind spots in your game. Maybe you're really great at recruiting, but maybe you're not the nicest person on the team. That was me. I'll be honest. I can recruit everybody, but I ain't going to be hand-holding nobody. Like, you either do it or don't. That's a blind spot for me. That's a weakness as a leader in me. And while it served me for a time, it stalled me for a time also. If you can't see things correctly, okay, you're not going to be able to lead effectively. Sometimes it's good to ask our team what our blind spots are. It's good to have accountability for somebody to call you out where you need to be called out. It was one of the first things I did coming back into this new role as CEO. As I went to our organization, I said, please tell me where we are sucking because I need to know that information. I need to know where we can improve. I need to know where I can improve. And accountability is not surrounding yourself with the people that are just clapping for you, right? It's not just people that are listening to your excuses and agreeing with you. That's not it. Accountability is surrounding yourself with a team of people that aren't afraid to make suggestions, to give you feedback, critical criticism that's going to help you grow. Now, I will be honest, I'm so good at doing this for other people, but I was not good at receiving it from other people. I could go to my team and say, listen, you're failing because you forgot to read chapter 3. And chapter 3 says this, so go fix it. Like, okay, Jenna, what about you, Jenna? Like, I have to do this for myself too. And I have to be open to that feedback from other people. Otherwise, I'm going to be blind. And the blind leading the blind is not a pretty picture, okay? So here's the other thing is we're often harder on other people than we are for ourselves. There's 2 sets of criteria for judging ourselves versus judging other people. When we judge other people, we're judging their actions. My son says all the time, he's like, well, I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm like, that's fine. It still hurt how you said it. I'm getting receiving end of your action, not your intent. Your actions are what the standard I'm holding you to, right? So we judge other people based on their actions. And how do you think that we judge ourselves? We judge ourselves based on our intentions. And based on our intentions, even when the results are bad, right? Well, I intended to have a record-breaking month, but what happened was, so we're like nicer to ourselves than we are to other people. We do this over and over and over again before we require ourselves to change. So the key to leading yourself better is to learn how to get out of your own way and hold yourself to the same standard that you're holding everybody else to. Okay, so here's 4 strategies to leading yourself that I'm going to share with you guys. Number 1 is learn followership. Learn followership. I know that seems kind of weird. I'm trying to tell you how to be a good leader, and now I'm saying you got to be a good follower. Well, we got to learn followership. Only a leader who has learned to follow well can lead well. Good leadership requires an understanding of the world their followers live in. Okay, so we got to walk in their shoes to understand. I had to walk in Josh's shoes to understand the challenges that he faces on a daily basis. How easy for me it was when I was not the CEO, you guys. I felt like I was in a fast food establishment. I was just placing my order. Hey, I'd like to see this. Hey, I'd like to see that done. I'd like to see that. All my leaders are bringing ideas to me. Hey, go do it. Now I'm walking in his shoes and I realize it's not that simple. And if I want to understand my followers, I got to walk in their shoes, right? It's not that easy to gain momentum from zero. It's a lot more easy to just cheer on the momentum you already have, for sure. When you hit a top rank, it's easy to forget what it's like to be a 1K affiliate, right? So we got to walk in our shoes. Leaders who never follow well tend to be prideful, unrealistic, rigid, and autocratic. Arrogant leaders are rarely effective in the long term. They alienate their followers, their teammates, and other leaders. So we have to learn followership. We have to learn how to follow well and follow intelligently. How I'm implementing this in my life, I'm studying people who've already walked the charted path. Like, I'm learning the way it's already been done. I'm going to stop relying on my whims and my emotional nudges and whatever. Like, I'm going to study it like it's a science so that I can follow well. If I can follow well, then I know I can lead well. Does that make sense, you guys? So we can all implement that in our own lives and in our own leadership efforts. Number 2, develop self-discipline. Okay, Frederick the Great out of Prussia was on a journey and saw an old man walking towards him. And he asked the man who he was. He said, who are you and where are you going? The old man replied, he's the king. And Frederick laughed and laughed and laughed. And he said, over what kingdom? And the man replied, of myself. I'm the king of my own kingdom. I'm the king of myself. I'm the queen of myself. Okay, so self-discipline is knowing that we have to become the monarch of our own lives. We're responsible for our own rulings and our own actions. And if you're not aware of this, you're going to lose control of yourself. When we are foolish, we want to conquer the world, but when we are wise, we want to conquer ourselves. We must do what we should do, no matter how we feel about it. So self-discipline. Does it take self-discipline to wake up every day and make prospecting calls? Absolutely, it does. And some days you're not going to feel like it. Some days you're going to say, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I can take off whenever I want. I don't have to work today. Well, that's fine. But if you don't implement self-discipline in your daily method of operation, you're not going to have results. And if you don't have results, which is the third the third principle of leadership, if you don't have personal production, your team's not going to want to follow you. The first level is position. The second level is permission. Then the third level of leadership is production. You have to implement self-discipline to produce results. If you're not producing results in your team, you're going to have a really hard time in trying to get your team to do what you're not doing. Does that make sense? Number 3, practice patience. This is a big one for me. I am very impatient. When I see a vision, when I have a goal, when I have a determined goal in mind, I'm going to run for it. I have to learn how to be patient because I can't hit the goals and I can't change the world by myself. If I could, I would have done it already. It's going to take all of you in order to implement the goals and the visions and the mission I see for the company. It's going to take your guys' effort too. I have to be patient with your learning. I have to be patient with the pace you're on. I got to be patient with how corporate's going to figure out all this vision that I have. I'm like, hey, we're going to move to self-sustainability. Okay, well, our package is going to change. Okay, well, we're going to have less paper in the office. Okay, we're going to have to change this over here, change this over here. Do I want it done tomorrow? Yes, I do. But is that realistic? No, it's not. I have to practice patience, and you have to practice patience within your team. Because while you may have 18 years experience in this industry, they may have 2 days experience. We can't expect them to be on an 18-year experience level if they just barely joined our company. So practice patience. If you're out front, you're a leader. So this goes back to the speed of the leader. We say the speed of the leader determines the speed of the team, but we don't talk about what that really means. As leaders, we see more ahead. That's what makes you a leader. You have a bigger vision. You see the end result. You sometimes see it before everybody else sees it. Okay, so naturally we want to go faster. We want to get it done. We want everybody to match our vision instantly, but if we're not patient, we wind up breeding resentment instead of encouragement. Robert Hollis talked about this at one of our events, and he was talking about cows in the field producing milk, right? He said, I got 2 cows. They're producing milk, and I'm going into these 2 cows, get me some more milk, right? And we're trying to get as much milk out of these 2 cows as we can, and eventually they're all dried up, and we're angry at the cows because they're out of milk. What does Robert Hollis says? He said, the goal isn't to beat up your 2 cows, it's to go get some more cows. So if you got a whole team of 5 and you're like, why aren't you guys selling more? Why aren't you guys producing more? Why aren't you guys taking me to the next rank? Because you need more people to produce that milk. You need more people to fulfill that vision. And you need the right people to fulfill that vision. You're not going to get there with a team of 5. Okay? And I'm not going to try to discourage you here, but I've recruited thousands of people in this industry myself. Not the industry, actually, just in this company alone. I've recruited thousands. And I don't know if this is a good thing to share or not, but I took my foot off the gas for the last 2 years as I went into mommy mode. And my residual income continued month after month after month because I had thousands of people that I put into my business. So if you have a vision of true residual income, just know it's going to take more than 2 cows to get there. You're going to need a whole lot of team to get you to where you want to go. And just so you know, guys, the goal isn't so that you can quit one day. The goal may be so that you can quit your job one day. But there's never a scenario, not in this industry, not in this company, not in any form of entrepreneurship where you get to just quit and everything continues. If that's what you're looking for, then the goal should be to earn as much income as you can so that you can invest it. Now your money's making you money. That's the goal there, right? But this is a better opportunity for you to get to that money faster, right? So back to what I was saying, practice patience. You got to be patient with your people. There's no such thing as instant results. Okay. In today's world, we want instant everything, instant coffee, instant oatmeal, instant noodles. We want, everything to be microwaved. Okay. Microwave leaders have no staying power. Okay. We have unrealistic expectations when we're microwave leaders. Okay. Leadership is more of a crock pot type deal. It takes time, but the end product is worth the wait. So when you look at leaders like Robert's team, you look at Judy Stallings' team, you look at people that have lots of people in their organization, they didn't build that overnight. That was not an instant oats operation there, okay? It took them years to develop these relationships. It took them years to develop their skills as leaders and to develop the training within them. And you have to understand that this is a crock pot game, okay? It's not a microwave game. Now, some of us have a microwave financial status. I understand that. And you want to make money by tomorrow. Thank goodness for our compensation plan that rewards short-term gain as well as long-term gain. But when you're building your team, you got to understand that it's going to take time to develop your leaders. You have to develop them. You have to impart your knowledge with them. And you got to be patient. The point of leadership is not to cross the finish line. It's to take people across the finish line with you. I'm going to say that one more time. The point of leadership is not to just cross the finish line. It's to take people across the finish line with you. So I'm done saying speed of the leader. The speed of the team is a reflection of the speed of the leader. Leaders must lower their pace, okay? Stay connected to their people. Enlist others to help fulfill the vision and keep people going. Does that make sense, you guys? You can't do that if you're running too far ahead or have a bad attitude about their pace. And Kathleen Earle, our COO, she said it best. She said, we're so focused on being super affiliate that we fail to just get to 1K. So that doesn't mean don't set your goals high. Absolutely, set impossible goals. But let's break this up a little bit. Let's get our people to 1K first, okay? And when we get our people to 1K, let's take them to 5K next, okay? After we get them to 5K, then let's go to 25K and beyond. Let's not just say, let's go get super affiliate, because you're going to lose people along the way. That's too big of a bite to swallow. We got to break it up so that everybody can get there, right? Okay, so the purpose of these calls is not just to tell you guys about leadership, but to also show you guys that I'm going to be doing the same things too. I don't expect you guys to do things that I'm not going to personally do myself. Which brings me to number 4, seek accountability. Talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to just put it down here. Number 4 is seek accountability. Good leaders know they can't trust themselves. When I first read that, I was like, I trust myself. And maybe that's been a blind spot for me, right? Good leaders know they can't trust themselves alone. Power is seductive. It can disillusion you. And when you're on top, you think you're going to stay on top forever. Success was what you held your breath for. And then when you got to experience it, or when you saw a glimpse of it, or when you saw your check begin to expand and grow, if you've been a part of that big rush and hyper growth we had, you got to experience that. We thought it would always be there, right? Success is rented. It's never owned. We have to pay the price for it every single day. And then if you think this could never happen to you, then this is a blind spot that you should be aware of now. If you think you'd never lose your way, or that you'd never change as a result of your success, by thinking that you're above this possibility is a blind spot. So realizing this self, I made 2 decisions. 1, I'm not going to trust myself alone. I'm going to have accountability in place. And number 2, I will be accountable to someone other than myself. So my executive team is going to hold me accountable, and my leaders are going to hold me accountable in this company. Because you guys, and as well as our executive team, they have decades of years of experience, right? They've got so much experience in this industry. I got to leverage them more versus making decisions myself and thinking I know all the answers. You have to leverage your leaders too. You've guys got some amazing talent within your organization. And it should be Up to you to put a mastermind of people together that are going to hold you accountable. Lack of accountability will lead to problems in your personal life and in your public life or your business life. And there's a Chinese proverb that says, when you see a good man, think of emulating him. When you see a bad man, examine your heart. Accountability is not finding someone who's willing to hear all your explanations about your actions to make you feel better about them. Okay, accountability is consulting your mentors and advisors before taking action. And that brings me to an example, which is in this book that I thought was amazing. But before I go into that, I'm just going to share one more thing. The willingness to seek and accept advice is a great indicator of accountability and a leader who is maturing and improving. Being a leader is to hold yourself to a higher standard of accountability than others do. Why? Because you're held responsible to your own actions and to those who you lead. Leadership is not a trust. Leadership is a trust. It's not a right. Leadership is trust. It's having the trust of the people. If you don't have the trust of the people, you cannot lead them anywhere. So we got to fix ourselves earlier. When Harry Truman suddenly became the president after the death of FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of his advisors, Sam Rayburn, said to him, there's going to be people who try to build walls around you so that you see no other ideas outside of the ones that they are giving you. And they will tell you how great of a man you are, Harry, but you and I both know that that's not true. He was his advisor, and he's saying, listen, you're going to be surrounded by people. You're the new president now. You're going to be surrounded by people that are going to say that everything you're doing is right. Everything that you're doing is wonderful. Everything that you're doing is magnificent. We have the best leader this, best leader that. Well, that's not the truth. You need advisors that are going to call you out. You need accountability partners who say, hey, maybe we should turn that down a little bit. Maybe we should, be a little more patient here. Maybe we should try a different way. Okay, so we need people in our circle, an accountability partner, a mentor, an advisor who's not afraid to tell you where and how to make changes. This is key. So let me get on to our action items before we wrap up this call. Step 1, evaluate yourself. Take a good look at your performance, okay? And what's your personal growth plan? This is so important. What is your personal plan for growth? If you don't have one, if you're just waiting for somebody to tell you what book to read next, you got to put something in yourself, something in place for yourself. Where do you need to improve to make changes? How will you begin? By making these changes. So number 1, evaluate yourself. Number 2, book a call with your upline leader or a mentor or an advisor or somebody that you respect either in this industry or in your personal side is okay too. But really somebody in this business that understands this business, book a call with this person so that you can get feedback on how you can grow to the next level of leadership. And if you don't have somebody like this, you got to find somebody like this in the business. There's lots of people in this business that are succeeding right now that can help you kind of get back on track. Number 3, take a look at your organization. Look for strengths, look for weaknesses, areas of improvement. Maybe your team is so really fantastic about the team calls you do every single week, but maybe your team's not doing so good on prospecting or having power hours. Maybe your team's not so good at closing the sale, right? Maybe there's some areas that we need to improve in your team. Maybe you guys are really, really great at participating in Zwagil Foundation stuff, right? Your team always is showing up for that, for charity, but your team's not succeeding on the sustainable efforts of being a leader within your own organization. I don't know. You got to take a look at your organization and see where you guys are strong and where you're weak and where we can improve. Number 4, I'm going to challenge all of you guys here, but number 4, invite 10 new people to our next leadership call next week on Wednesday. People who were not here originally on this call today. Invite 10 new people and let them know that Jenna sent you. And if they're not in our business, that's okay. They can learn. If they are in our business, fantastic. Get them plugged in. So those are the 4 action items I have for you guys. And this concludes our leadership training for today. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. It's been really great being able to talk to you guys one-on-one. I know this is a much better method than just going live on Facebook. So again, thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.